Greetings once again. It's time for Shelf Life Book Reviews Online, where I present to you a book that I very highly recommend. But first, I'm going to make a very short announcement. As I announced in a previous book review, I'm still having problems with my eye. I had injection in it in 7 different places to stop spasming and twitching. Well, now my eye doesn't blink the same as the other. So if you're looking at me and saying, what's going on with him? That's my story and I'm sticking to it, and that's the truth. But anyways, it's not about me. It's about the book. And this is a book that you have to read. It is called All in Her Head, How Gender Bias Harms Women's Mental Health by Misty Pratt. It is published by Greystone Books. It retails for $28.95, and it has 336 pages. This is a very important book. For far too long, women, when it's come to their health issues, there seems to be a different standard for men and for women. I can sort of talk from experience about my grandparents back in the 60s and early 70s. Our family doctor, who was an old school guy, if my grandfather had a problem, he would say, he'd give him, advice, maybe prescribe something, but he'd talk him through it. Well, when my grandmother had several health issues, he would often say, "Oh, it's just your nerves. It'll go away. It's nothing." And he said that several times. And the last time that he said that, the next day my grandmother was rushed into emergency. She had a blood clot in her lung that she spit up. And if she hadn't have been to the hospital and spit it up, she likely would have died. So it's definite. The doctors do treat women differently, and in terms of mental health as well too. They are looked at differently and treated totally differently from males. And in the book, Misty Pratt does an amazing job of looking at women's issues throughout history. It was back in the Salem, witch trials. If a woman was having issues, well, she was a witch. Let's burn her at the stake or drown her. And so, maybe it's not that severe today, but over time, perceptions of women's mental health and their states of depression have been looked at differently than those of males. And the author herself, she was treated for depression, given antidepressants, and was basically told, well, tough it out. The antidepressants will work. And they really don't look at the core of the problem. It's more a one prescription fits all type of deal. But in the pages of the book, early in the introduction, Misty Pratt says, "When I set out to write this book, I knew I wanted it to be about women's mental health and mental illness as it's currently misunderstood in our medical system, culture, and society." And it really is. And throughout the chapters, she looks at different reasons why women's mental health is perceived differently. She looks at the need for perfectionism. Women have a different standard than men, that they think they have to work harder because there's a bias. And, to get to the top of the corporate ladder, women have to work a lot harder than men. Now, maybe it's changed a bit, but it puts undue stress on the women's psyche and on their self-esteem, and it causes a lot of issues. And in the pages of the book, as noted, perfectionism is one of those things where the woman thinks she has to be perfect or it's not going to work. And by putting undue stress on herself, it causes mental health issues as well. Now, the author does a deep dive into all the reasons why, and there are multiple ones that she discusses in detail. Now, she doesn't write in a style that is above our head. She writes on a level that everyone can understand and learn from. That's the most important thing, is learning something from this book. And it's a teaching book. And I wish I had a psychology book like this one, where you could look at things, differently. When I went to university, it was all like Sigmund Freud, and he had his own ideas of women and women's issues and health, and other psychologists too. But this is definitely a book that looks at why there's problems and help as well too. The author talks about that yoga and meditation can help with women's issues, and she also talks about getting back to nature. That just going out and accepting nature, looking at the world around you, is a sort of a soothing experience, and it takes away the stress of everyday life. Now, it may not be the cure-all, but it helps in that direction. So she also says there is no cure for mental illness, but there can be healing. And this book is a deep dive into that healing, ways to heal, how to heal, and learning from our healing. So if you're looking for an excellent book, it's not only for women, men can learn something from this as well too. It's an all-round must-read book. So Misty Pratt, thank you for writing an excellent book. Go out and look for All in Her Head. And if you do purchase it, please let me know if you do agree with my review. I think you will. So, thank you for watching. I'll be back again very soon with another great book. Until then, stay safe, stay sane, stay in touch, and I will see you at the bookstore. Bye for now.